movie begins on a seemingly ordinary, bright afternoon in a wealthy, upscale neighborhood. A handsome, sharply dressed young man casually approaches an elegant millionaire's wife as she walks her small dog. He flashes a charming, disarming smile and strikes up a friendly conversation. He compliments her beloved dog, speaking to her with such natural ease and familiarity that the wealthy woman immediately drops her guard. She responds politely, treating the encounter like a normal, pleasant interaction with a polite stranger. However, the illusion of safety shatters in an instant. The young man's friendly smile vanishes, replaced by a cold, dead stare. He suddenly addresses her by her full legal name and forcefully orders her to get into the back of his dark, idling van. Confused and deeply alarmed, the woman hesitates. In a flash, the young man revealing a loaded handgun tucked into his waistband. The terrifying reality sets in. This is a targeted kidnapping. Frozen with fear, the millionaire's wife is forced into the vehicle against her will. The kidnapper speeds away from the city, driving deep into a dense, isolated, and terrifyingly silent forest. He stops the van in a hidden clearing and orders his silent, masked accomplice to begin digging a massive, deep hole in the damp earth. The millionaire's wife watches in absolute horror. Realizing with sickening clarity that she is about to be buried alive, she breaks down. She drops to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably, desperately begging the young man for her life and screaming for help. But her cries echo uselessly through the empty woods. The kidnappers coldly ignore her pleas. They violently force her inside a heavy, reinforced wooden coffin, nail the lid shut, and lower her into the deep earth, burying her alive in the pitch-black darkness. Roughly 24 hours after this horrific crime, the story shifts to the bustling city. We are introduced to Madeline, a sharp, highly dedicated police detective, her husband Tim, who is also a seasoned detective. The couple is riding a commuter train home, trying to enjoy a rare day off together. As they chat quietly, Madeline's sharp eyes scan the train car. Her gaze locks onto a man sitting a few rows away. She instantly recognizes his face from a high-priority police bulletin. He is a dangerous, wanted fugitive. Tim, wanting to avoid a violent confrontation on a crowded civilian train, tries to stop her. But Madeline's law enforcement instincts take over. She urgently whispers for Tim to call for immediate police backup while she draws her weapon and moves in to apprehend the suspect. The fugitive spots her approaching and makes a run for it. A tense, high-stakes foot chase erupts through the narrow, moving train cars. Madeline relentlessly pursues him, pushing past panicked passengers. Finally, she corners him near the exit doors. The fugitive turns, pulling back his jacket to reveal a gun tucked into his waistband. Knowing a shootout in a confined space would be a bloodbath, Madeline is forced to freeze and hold her fire. The train screeches to a halt at the next station. Taking advantage of the open doors, the fugitive bursts out of the train and sprints onto the crowded platform. Madeline charges after him, her gun drawn. Outside the station, the wail of police sirens fills the air as Tim's requested backup units swarm the streets. The desperate fugitive pulls his gun and fires wildly at the approaching officers, nearly breaking through their perimeter. Anticipating his escape route, Madeline positions herself strategically under a stairwell. As the fugitive rounds the corner, she steps out and fires, taking him down with a precise, non-lethal shot to end the chaos. After wrapping up the arrest at the precinct, Madeline steps outside to make a private, highly secretive phone call. Although she is married to Tim, Madeline is living a dangerous double life. She has been secretly carrying on a passionate, illicit affair with a wealthy, powerful man behind her husband's back. Later that evening, as she returns from a secret rendezvous with her lover, her police partner pulls up to the curb in an unmarked car. He tells her to get in immediately. A massive, high-profile case has just dropped. Madeline quickly buries her guilt, shifts back into her detective persona, and heads straight to the precinct. At the station, the entire task force is gathered in a dark briefing room. The case is unprecedented. The wife of one of the city's most prominent millionaires has been kidnapped, along with her small dog. The detectives play the ransom video sent by the kidnappers. The footage is deeply disturbing. The millionaire's wife is shown stripped of her clothing, crying and begging for her life, and the millionaire's wife is so panicking, and she tells the kidnapper, demanding $1 million for her. Safe in, she also tells her husband thought the video, that her husband shouldn't call the police. Analyzing the video, the detectives conclude the victim is buried somewhere in a vast, remote forest. Searching blindly would take weeks. The desperate millionaire immediately agrees to pay the $1 million to save his wife. The police, knowing time is running out, begin formulating a highly covert operation to catch the kidnapper during the ransom exchange. The tension in the briefing room is palpable. The victim has already been buried for several hours, and her oxygen supply is rapidly depleting. Every second counts. Madeline stands up and delivers a grim assessment. The kidnapper is incredibly arrogant. The way the video was shot proves he knows the police are watching. Furthermore, the kidnapper knows intimate, highly personal details about the millionaire's wife, suggesting this was a meticulously planned operation, not a random crime of opportunity. Tim, leading the overall operation, assigns the key roles. He positions Madeline and her partner Jesse directly at the random drop site, a sprawling, eerie cemetery. The rest of the tactical team is ordered to remain on standby, hidden in an unmarked vehicle and somewhere else. On the perimeter, ready to strike the moment the kidnapper exposes himself, as dawn breaks. The heavy fog rolls over the cemetery. The millionaire stands alone near a large tombstone, holding a heavy briefcase packed with $1 million in unmarked bills. Madeline and the tactical teams are perfectly concealed behind statues and mausoleums. Madeline wears an earpiece, listening intently to the wire placed nearby the millionaire. The silence is broken by the crunch of gravel. A car slowly rolls into the cemetery. The kidnapper has arrived, but the young man is incredibly sharp and highly observant. As he scans the graveyard, his instincts flare. He senses the trap. Without stopping, he smoothly shifts the car into reverse and drives away. Leaving the millionaire standing alone, determined to get the money, the kidnapper circles back to the millionaire's private estate later that day to negotiate directly. Knowing he is likely surrounded by undercover police, the kidnapper casually asks the millionaire if he called the cops. The millionaire, terrified for his wife, aggressively denies it. He holds up the heavy bag of cash but demands to know exactly where his wife is buried before he hands it over. The kidnapper denying to tells where the millionaire's wife is. He demands the money first, refusing to reveal the location until the cash is in his hands. The desperate millionaire caves and hands over the bag. But the kidnapper is a master manipulator. He casually takes the money, turns his back on the furious millionaire, and walks to his car without uttering a single word about the wife's location. He gets in and drives off, realizing the exchange has failed. Madeline hits the gas in her unmarked police car, tailing the kidnapper through the city streets. The kidnapper knows he is being followed and begins driving erratically to shake her off. Madeline plays it cool, keeping her distance, hoping he doesn't realize she is a cop. As they approach an intersection, the light turns green. The kidnapper suddenly floors the accelerator, tearing through the traffic. Madeline pushes her car to the limit, staying right on his bumper. Seeing her relentless pursuit, the kidnapper aggressively swerves, violently sideswiping Madeline's car and pushing her toward the concrete median. He then makes a sharp, reckless turn into an underground tunnel to escape. Dropping her cover entirely, Madeline slaps a magnetic police siren onto her roof and speeds toward an alternate exit, hoping to cut him off. She pushes her engine to the absolute limit. As she exits the tunnel, the kidnapper's car appears right beside her. In a desperate, violent maneuver, the kidnapper slams his heavy vehicle directly into the side of Madeline's car. The impact sends her spinning out of control. Her car crashes violently into a parked taxi. The airbags deploy, and Madeline is knocked unconscious, with his own car heavily damaged. The kidnapper grabs the heavy bag of ransom money and flees the scene on foot. Minutes later, Madeline regains consciousness. Bleeding and dazed, she opens her car door and stumbles into the street. The kidnapper is casually walking down the sidewalk,